Morning traders, Paul here with Gamma Edge. Today is Monday, the 3rd of October. Let's get started. Pause your players here, read to the bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Summary for today, all our signals are in cash or they're short. Paper trades, of course. Nothing here is a recommendation to buy or sell any security. GEX ratios, the gamma exposure ratio, are rising across the board on the indices, which is bullish, but we're seeing this in a falling market. I want everyone to stop and think about what that could mean. If you don't know the outcomes of that question, please join us in the Discord. Positive GEX keeps flipping between 42 and 4,300 on the SPX. The reason for that is in part spot price is falling. The other part of that is that we're seeing calls being closed and shifting between those two levels. Of note, negative gamma exposure, which is the put-dominated exposure, has dropped to 3,500. Note that 3,600 is nearly of the same magnitude, and you'll see that later in the presentation. The transition range is very loose. We started about 36.65, which is just above us, which is where pressure will ease quite a bit, and we don't see a lot of dealer response. It does not clear until we get up over 39.05, and that's a big range. When it's this loose, we don't anticipate a lot of upside pressure. We are expecting a lot of volatility. The expected move is elevated for today. Cash is a valid position in the absence of knowing what to do next. I know there's a lot of uncertainty for folks. If you feel that you must get into the market, I would play very, very small. Cumulative Tick model, it's our primary model. It basically is down on the short term, intermediate term, long term. Some bubbles here showing how we derive that, and I think the key takeaway is that if you fight the trend, you could be challenged. Now, all of that being said, we're right underneath this. This is a good launching pad to move up, but it's also a good rejection point to move down. So we are looking for a continuation this morning. Perhaps with the futures being up, we'll see some buying. Perhaps we'll see some dropping. The key takeaway here, though, is that keep an eye on this, and if we start seeing the cumulative tick move upward, that could be an indication of buying pressure on the shortest of terms. Certainly the intermediate term and the long term are going to remain in the off status unless we get a fairly significant rally day. GEX ratios, the gamma exposure ratios of the SPX combo, the NAS, the IWM, SPY, Qs, and the VIX. So combo are hitting lows, but it's higher than the low that was put in about a week and a half ago. Same thing over here on the NDX. IWM, same story. You can see that we're starting to see some upside calls being added and or downside puts being closed, which has given rise to those values. Just keep an eye on this. We think that one or the other has got to resolve. These could be indicative of positioning for a rally. The VIX is off its highs here and is coming down, which is indicative of puts being added and or calls being closed. Of course, since it's gamma, it's short term, so this is giving you a better pulse on what is happening for the overall markets. OI changes. The only thing I want to call out to you is that we're seeing some dominance up here at 36.50 on the call side, and we're seeing some dominance at 3,000 on the put side, which happens to be the SPX put open interest level. Open interest change by itself is not a good indicator of things. You need to couple this with the gamma. We do that. But you can see where the distributions are, and that is actually useful. You can see in terms of expiries where things are going in, and you can also see the overall distributions. So we do find this useful for us and would urge everyone to use this tool. SPX Levels, 3,000 is unchanged. 3,500 is down from 3,600 on the minus GEX level. Not shown here at 4,200 is where plus GEX is sitting up. So that's the major gamma exposure for the complex. COI, illiquid, remains at 4,000. Expected move higher than it was Friday, so expect a little bit more action today. 0DTE, the base of the 0DTE transition range is right here at 3,600. Given futures and where they're at, we'll probably open up in this area. But note, we've got some pretty significant downside here in the 0DTE, and this is a very large level for today, so we're watching that. The 1DTE pushes us upwards to this 3645 to 3660 level. Again, skating to where the puck is at the end of day tomorrow. This is the 1DTE for tomorrow. We could see some overnight parking into this area, not necessarily going to get there, but we could see some overnight push towards this area. Would not be surprised at all if we got into this area or maybe trapped into a little bit of a towards 3670 by the end of the day. We'll see. Overall combo complex, which is both the AM and the PM, settled. Sea of red in the net delta notionals. We need to see calls go in order to turn this positive. You can see 3,700, with the exception of this little pocket right here, you can see it is heavily negative gamma, which is put gamma. Yes, we know puts are long gamma or positive gamma, but in order to keep the accounting correct, we put a minus sign in front of them. I've highlighted each of the key levels here. These are really big levels. I just want everyone to be aware of that. As prices fall and you get spit out through this, the delta impact is very significant. So just be aware of that as we drop. It could cause us to accelerate to the downside as we go through each of these. These are very significant levels, by the way. I mean, we don't normally see this kind of build up like this. As I said, 4,200 is positive gamma dominant. 3,500 is the new negative gamma dominant, and you can see some key levels here that we're watching for today. Overall structure, you can see a lot of put gamma is dominating here. 35, 36, very close, significant levels of magnitude. 34 is no slouch. 34 is definitely in play, and you can see a lot filling in here. Very centric, very dominant in these particular areas here with all this structure going in. So just be aware of that, of what's happening. COI, illiquid, up here at 4,000. You can see that's in the positive gamma regime. 3,905 is sitting right here. So we're defining a transition range from 3665 up to 3,905. And we've got to reduce a lot of this put gamma in order to significantly advance and hold. So we're watching that pretty carefully. To the downside, 3,000 is pretty much the line in the sand. There's not a lot below us. All the way on down here, you can see it just really starts falling off. So key takeaway here, watch these levels. We finished here. 3,500 is definitely in play, and we want to pay particular attention to that. So that's it for today. If you like today's commentary or have any questions, come join us at gammaedge.us. That'll take you to a sign-up page. Click on the pricing tab, fill out the blanks, and come on into the Discord. A lot of great people, a lot of great traders of all experience levels, and just everyone's really willing to answer questions and help everyone get positioned. Follow us on Twitter here, Gamma Edges with an S, and then of course on YouTube. If you like today's content, let me know by smashing that like button, and of course subscribe. We're definitely wanting to post more materials and want to notify you when that occurs. So if you subscribe, you get those notifications. Thanks everyone, make it a great week, be safe, trade small, and we will see you in the Discord. Thanks.